Hi everyone, my name's Mark Deere, and in today's video we're going to talk about imposter syndrome. I'm a filmmaker, and in my last video I was talking about Martin syndrome, and at the end of it I instead of saying Martin syndrome, spoke about imposter syndrome, and I thought, well, that's a great idea for a video. What is imposter syndrome? That's what I want to talk about today. Imposter syndrome is when you feel like a fraud, basically. Like when you feel like whatever you're doing, you're going to get found out, that you don't actually know what you're doing. And this is something I've kind of dealt with my whole life. I've pretty much always had it. And it's funny, like no matter how much of an expert you become at something, no matter how much you've done something, you have this feeling of like, someone's going to find out that I don't actually know what I'm doing, you know? And it's funny because people, it kind of goes hand in hand with the quote, fake it till you make it. Like when you begin in a lot of things, you are an imposter, you aren't experienced and you don't know what you're doing yet. So you do have to kind of fake that you know what you're doing. But when that feeling of being a fraud, or that feeling of being found out, or that people are going to realize you don't know as much as they think you know, when that feeling continues, you know, it does start permeating your actions and the way you feel about yourself. And it's something that, you know, I've grappled with for a long time. Like I definitely, I've said in another video, I've identified, or for many years of my life, I identified as a perfectionist. I looked at it like a badge of honor. Like I have to do everything right. I have to make everything great. And, you know, it's funny how that, thankfully I've really started outgrowing that now. Like I realize it's a very bad thing to be a perfectionist, and everything doesn't need to be perfect. And things being bad isn't a bad thing. It's funny, there's a few different ways that imposter syndrome can kind of manifest. And yeah, one is perfectionism. One is, I think, wanting to do everything yourself, so you need to be in control. It's like, oh, I'll take care of this, I can take care of this. I don't, like not needing anyone's help, and if you needed someone's help, then all of a sudden, you know, you're a fraud, like because you have always shown externally to everyone that you were capable of doing it yourself. And another version is when you always get things right the first time, which thankfully has never really been me, but some people like won't try things. They'll hold back in life. They won't try a new area or move into a new field of creativity or a new field in general. Like they'll always, and I'll often see this with students. So for 11 years, I was a filmmaker. And for the last 10 years, I've been a teacher. I'm currently on long service leave from teaching. And it's something I saw both in filmmaking and, you know, when you'd offer someone to do another role and be, oh no, I'll stick with this role because they didn't want to fail at it, they didn't want to look bad at it. And in teaching, I'll often see students who stick with, oh no, I'm good at maths, or I'm good at English, or I'm good at, they stay in their lane. And it's like, well, everyone's going to be bad at something when they first begin. Like, but some people identify as, I'm always good the first time. And so for them to not be good the first time, people will find out and judge them. And then we get to the biggest one, which is people pleasing. So you are so, it's so much a part of your identity that you will please others, that you know, if you do something that displeases people, you know, all of a sudden they'll find out that all along you didn't know what you were doing, you know. So it's like you're constantly trying to, you know, not let anyone see that you're struggling. Like you can't let anyone see that you're struggling. And this is a big thing. And so, yeah, this feeling of being an imposter it's not something that, you know, it's not healthy. But I think at every level, and I think a lot of creative people have this, like often I'll be working on a script or I'll be working on a project and you think, oh man, you know, I'm writing this script, like people are going to realize at some point, like I'm getting paid for this. Like Candice and I sold the script years ago and it was like, we're getting paid to do this. And like people are going to realize like we don't really know what we're doing, you know? And when I would work in corporate videos or TV ads, like you're on a TV ad and you have all these career people asking you what you want. And it's like, oh man, these people they're all just getting this thing done and they don't realize I have no idea what I'm doing, you know. And then for 10 years as a teacher, I've always said this as a teacher, like and it's funny because I originally, in Australia to become a teacher, you can either do an undergraduate degree, like a bachelor's degree for 4 years, where you, they teach you everything from scratch, right? But the other option is you can have done a degree first. So because I'd already done a multimedia bachelor's degree and a master's of film, I could do, it's called a graduate diploma in teaching. So basically they go, well, you're going to teach the things you've already learned, you know, in undergraduate and your master's. You'll teach those things in school. And so it'll only take 1 year, or now it's become 2 years. You can't do the graduate diploma anymore in Australia. It's now a 2-year master's degree, which is crazy. I could never have done that, whereas I could do, you know, 8 months. And I've talked about this on another video. My friend Shane McLennan told me he'd done it, and I'm like, oh, okay, and I did it, and it was great. But it's funny how, as a teacher, because I did the graduate diploma earlier, but see, it's funny because I went back and did a master's. So I've done a research master's, written a thesis in education. So I'm absolutely an expert in teaching, But I've always said when I see people, like, I kind of never want to act better than anyone else, even though I've won an award for being a teacher as well. I feel like if I didn't have my content knowledge of film stuff, which is funny because again on my channel I haven't talked a lot about film. I did one video about location sound recording while I did it, but otherwise I haven't really talked about filmmaking so much as ideas around filmmaking and creativity. But yeah, I feel like because I have such strong content knowledge from working for 11 years in film, there's no question a student couldn't ask me that I wouldn't know the answer to. But, you know, I know intellectually, like, I am very strong, like, I know a lot of pedagogical strategies. Like, I absolutely know how to establish classroom norms. I'm good in a classroom. Like, I feel like, and I've had a lot of students over the years say I'm their favorite teacher or the best teacher I ever had and stuff. Like, I get good and positive feedback and positive reinforcement, even though I will say to my peers that I have imposter syndrome. And I'm like, if I didn't have my content knowledge, they wouldn't say I was the best teacher they ever had. If I hadn't had previous experience, if I didn't, you know, to be honest, I feel like the thing in teaching that made me the best was that I just treated my students the same way that I would treat interns or anyone I was working with on a film set. Like, I just treated everyone the same. I never condescended. I would always act like the student has just as much to teach me as I do to them, and it would almost be like a master apprentice kind of role. No, not even that maybe, because yeah, I'll help someone if they don't know something, but there's often students, because again, like my lane is creativity, that's what I know about, but there's like, if a kid comes and asks me a question about their accounting assessment or their, I don't know, like chemistry or something, like I don't remember the periodic table, it's 30 years since I was in high school. So yeah, it's like everybody has something to teach everybody, and somebody else's background is going to be different from mine, and they have things to teach me just about the world, you know. And I think closing yourself off from that is idiotic. I don't know, that's the thing I love about teaching the most, is the students. I love the students. And it's funny how, because they're individuals, it's like I love people, you know. And everybody has something. I was just telling my son this last night actually, because he was comparing himself with his friend, and I was like, dude, it doesn't matter if he's better at that and you're better at that. It doesn't matter, like, what's he awesome at? Like, what do you like him for? Like, because you have things you like about each other, and it doesn't matter if you're the best or better than anybody else. Like, it's just the person. Like, you want the person in your life because they can teach you something, or they can give you something, you know, you're getting something, it's reciprocal, you know. So anyway, so I think the students just get from me that I like being there, and I like being around them, and they're interesting to me, and I show an interest. I don't just dictate to them and tell them what they need to do. I kind of, you know, I mean, there's still very clear walls. It's not like I don't have a personal relationship with any students really. I've mentored one or two who went to film school, but otherwise outside of the classroom, it's not like you're talking to them, but it's just, I don't know, you just respect them as a human being, you know. It's like you respect anybody you see, or you don't. Some people probably don't. But yeah, it's funny how I still have that like imposter syndrome of like, I don't identify as a teacher. I don't. And I've talked about this in a few videos too, because I'm on long service leave from work. It's like, well, I've got, you know, a few months off of work. What do I want to do when I go back to work, or if I go back to work? Like, will I keep doing it the same way? Is there something else I want to do creatively? Are there other things I want to do in my life? I mean, I'm 43 years old, so now's the time to try something else. I did 11 years of film, almost 11 years of teaching. Like, you know, what's next for the next 11 years? I don't know. And it's funny how, because I've never identified as a teacher. Like, for the first 5 years of being a teacher, I never even told my peers in film that I wasn't still doing films. They'd be like, oh, what did you make recently, man? And I'd be like, oh yeah, not much. Because I was still doing freelance work on the side in my early teaching days. And so it's funny how, like, yeah, so then eventually everybody kind of realized, oh, you're teaching film now. Oh, how's that? You know, like, and yeah, I don't know. It's a tricky one, that actually, because I have imposter syndrome when it comes to being a teacher. Like I said, I feel like I'm a good teacher, and I feel like if I ever do any training stuff as part of this channel, or just publicly offer training, you know, you'll get to see if I'm a good teacher or not, I guess. But yeah, I think I'm decent at teaching. Like, I'm pretty good at that job, but I think because it's not part of my identity, I guess. And you know, filmmaking shouldn't be part of my identity. Creativity shouldn't be part of my identity. They're things I do. My identity is me. It's the same no matter what I achieve, you know. I think that's how you get around imposter syndrome, because you're just you. It doesn't matter what level you're at. It doesn't, like, being found out, what does that even mean, you know? So yeah, but it's funny how it's a real thing, and it doesn't really affect me at all anymore. I think when I was younger it did, because I'd be like, oh God, I need to, you know, please people. Definitely that one. Oh, I can do this myself. I'll prove that I can do every job on film. Early on, the reason I wanted to direct was like, I'll show that I can do every job. Then when someone goes, make a feature film, I go, yeah, I can do that because I've done every job myself, you know. That was how I defined it early on. But I think from not collaborating earlier, I held back on my development. It took a lot longer to get good, because I you know, so it was really me crippling myself with the imposter syndrome rather than, you know, it being something that in any way aided me, you know. It's just, but as I've gotten older, I've gotten wiser, and I realise now that it's not something useful. It's, you just, if you have those thoughts, just push them aside and keep working. Just keep working, you know. And you know, especially if you're having fun, and I'm having a lot of fun making these videos. So yeah, so it's interesting to me. I can't even remember what idea I was talking about. Sorry, it's funny, I often go on tangents. Anyone who's watched any of my videos would realise I do this. All my students realise I do this. But yeah, I was talking about what will come next and teaching, and being a teacher, sorry. Oh yeah, and I talked about if I was going to do stuff online. I'll realise when I'm watching this back, like, oh dude, you didn't go back and talk about blank. But yeah, I think what's next will, for me, will largely be influenced by taking some time to really look inside and think about what I want. I think that's the biggest thing. You know, sometimes in life you'll drift through and you'll be doing something, and somewhere along the lines you're like, wait, is the direction I'm going in even what I want? You know, and so like I say, you talk to peers, and I'll say, you know, oh, I have imposter syndrome. You know, you can be the good teacher. You can be the, you know, move up, because I don't want to move up in this. This isn't really the thing for me. I just like talking about my subject, or I just like, you know, working with students. But yeah, it's funny, like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to come next. But yeah, if you, I'm most interested in this, right? Because like I say, a few people have started commenting, and it's great. And I feel like we're working towards building a community. It's lovely. And I'm interested in how you feel. Like, do you feel like a fraud when you do these things? When you're writing a script, do you think, oh God, nobody's going to want to read this script. People are going to see immediately that I don't know what I'm doing, you know? Or do you not feel that? Do you feel super confident, you know? Because I'll have times where I feel super confident in everything, but then you have times where you second guess, and that's the times where you're like, oh, and where you would probably quit. But you don't want to quit. You want to keep going, especially if it's fun, because what you get out of it is so much better than what you wouldn't get by listening to, you know, that sensor, that negativity in your brain, resistance, you know, like to quote Stephen Pressfield, I think he calls it resistance in The War of Art. And what's his other book called? I can't remember. But anyway, you know, The War of Art is Stephen Pressfield's famous book. But yeah, anyway, I just thought talking about imposter syndrome would be something interesting today. I'm probably in the worst posture ever, but I thought it looked fun to sit on this random fence, I guess you'd call it. There was a frog in the platform I was leaning on before, and he was croaking. It was hilarious. I started the video again because of him. But yeah, this one's been pretty good. Okay. I'm looking forward to hearing from you in the comments, your thoughts on imposter syndrome. Come along on the journey with me. If you haven't seen any of my other videos, I'm going to be making a lot more of these. I talked about it earlier in the video. So yeah, I think we've got, what, 64 to go? Is that right? No, more than that. 66 to go, because this is 34. Or is this 35? This might be 35 now, video 35 out of 100 that I'm making. So there you go, 65 videos to go. So plenty to go. Lots of things still to talk about. And yeah, I'll see everyone. Here comes a car. Well, it's quite a long distance away, but it sounded loud to my ears. Anyway, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video, and I hope you have a great day.